Hello and good evening. Welcome to our Wednesday study. We have been going through the book of Revelation, which we will not be doing tonight. And so we'll be looking at some things that have been happening in this week. If you have happened to have caught a headline or two, there's been a thing or two happening relating to our off and on series of Bible patterns in modern times and how current events have biblical implications. And I would rather say that the Bible has implications for these current events that are happening. So with that, before we dive into tonight's adventures to share on screen and whatnot, let's take a look together in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, to set the stage. We look at just a couple verses, but this will again really lay the groundwork for what we're going to be looking at this evening. I definitely encourage thoughts and questions as we go. So Ezekiel chapter 38, the Lord, through the angel, through the prophet, Ezekiel is having some different discussions and information about some things yet to come. He specifically addresses a future bad guy named Gog of the land of Magog, prince of Meshech and Tubal. We'll talk about those in a minute here. But I specifically want to pick up in the middle of this conversation as the word of the Lord's coming to the prophet Ezekiel here. He says in verse 5, he mentions those who are going to be part of this gathering, Persia, Cush, and Put with them. All of them with buckler and helmet, Gomer with its troops, Beth Togarmah from the remote parts of the north with all its troops, many people with you. Again, talking about this bad guy of the future. So Persia, Cush, and Put. Persia of ancient times is what nation today? Iran. Yes. Cush is the Sudan, Ethiopia region in Africa. Put is Libya, where Benghazi is and all that stuff. Gomer, Beth Togarmah, those are understood to be areas of Turkey. There's some thought on Magog or Meshech being related to Moscow and a Russia connection there. Skip down to verse 13. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish with all its villages will say to you, have you come to capture spoils? Have you assembled your contingent to seize plunder, carry away silver and gold, take away livestock and goods, capture great spoils, and on from there? Sheba and Dedan are understood to be in Yemen, where the Houthis are. And so, so there's that. Tarshish, where the prophet Jonah was running away to, is thought to be in Spain. And there is a definite interest, it hasn't been in the headlines, but for the jihadist extremists who want to recapture Spain that used to be under Muslim control once upon a time. So I'll just tuck that away in the back of the mind. So I bring these out just to be familiar with these ancient prophecies that mention ancient civilizations that are still carried forward into today's time, just under different names. And so when we see some names in the headlines, it helps to remember who they are in Bible time so we know what the Bible's talking about, these same locations. So everyone good with that kind of openings setup there? Turkey, Gomer, Beth Togarmah, those areas are considered to be part of Turkey. There's different opinions, but there's some fair amount of thought on that. So, show and tell time. I have a series of clips to share with us. Now, I did not take the time, I will apologize up front, to go through and specifically handpick and pull out some things. I figured I'd just let these flow. I was enjoying some downtime with my sweetie as much as I could. It's been a bit of a week. But I figure you could take a break from me talking, check these out, and we'll have some discussion on these. So first up in my adventurous sharing, here is some security. Now get ready for this. Here is some security footage that recently became declassified of what Israel did earlier this week. Are you ready? Brace yourselves for this. Pause. Big screen. Big screen. Big screen. It's not wanting to big screen. Why is it not wanting to big screen? I apologize for that. It's not full screening. I'm hitting the button. Anyway, my apologies, but there we go. Let me pause. Remember this scene. This scene with these guys right here. Remember that scene. This will come up later. Yeah, so there's that. Oh, so any questions?
That was the end of that. That was the end of it.
Yeah, that was just that. Yeah.
And tell us about the nuclear system.
There we go. Why wasn't I doing that before? Okay, I'm going to change out the batteries and I'll let that 60-second thing replay real quick while I get new batteries because this thing isn't working. Yeah. Now that we got the full screen going. Yeah.
So basically, everything just got. Yeah, they bombed, you know. I heard.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting week. So on June 12th, today is what, the 18th? On June 12th, just 6 days ago, Israel attacked Iran and specifically went after some specific targets. And that's what we will look at here. And again, remembering that one scene with those guys on the ground.
Hey, for sure.
So this is once again our friend Israel My Channel. Got a couple things from him after this commercial break. And then I've got some other things to interspice between his stuff, but then we'll have some conversations.
I won't sleep good for the next couple of days. We have a situation in Israel and we have a situation in the Middle East. War has started, and this may be a huge, huge conflict we are looking at. As I am recording this message, Israel is still continuing precise attacks on Iran. What was cooking for several days now, before the sun rose today, it became a reality. So far, Israel has hit critical nuclear infrastructure within the country of Iran. A bold move by Israel that caught the Ayatollahs by surprise. They did not expect this. Iran felt confident that it can continue its nuclear program and Israel will not do anything. Well, guess what? Israel did something huge. This is Benjamin Netanyahu putting a prayer at the Western Wall just hours before the attack. Guess what Netanyahu wrote? It was a simple verse from the Bible, from Numbers 23, which reads, "A people rises like a young lion and lifts itself up like a lion. This is the Lion of Judah, baby, and Iran is about to find out. By the way, this is the flag of Iran right now, but before they had this flag. And what can you see? Also a lion. So the Lion of Judah is right now fighting to restore the Lion of Persia. Okay, but let's talk what's actually happening right now in Iran. Here are some images. Here is a ballistic missile site, which, as you can see, has been hit pretty hard. And this is the condition of many bases within Iran today. Here is another huge explosion in the Kermanshah province of Iran. Giant explosion. Now, this is huge. What we are hearing is that the Natanz nuclear reactor has been destroyed. We still need confirmation about this, but if it's true, this is giant. Here is another image showing you the destruction of Iran's main refinery. So oil is being hit also. And here is a flight situation right now over Iran. As you can see, not a lot of planes, except Israeli planes, are flying over Iran. Okay, let's check out the situation in Piran Shahr. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm butchering those names, but this is the best I can do. So you can see what's going on. Something huge has exploded. This is a military base, and probably a lot of missiles are exploding right now. So that's good because they will not be used against Israel. And the situation in the capital does not look too good. Also, as you can see, a lot is happening, a lot of missiles, a lot of explosions. This is chaos. This is the morning of a lot of the Ayatollahs this morning. Speaking of Iran's leaders, a lot of them were hit this morning. The places where they slept, well, this is their last night.
I'm going to pause right there. Precision hits. Other people are living in these buildings. They took out the leader in that room, in that room, in that part. Oh, so very, yeah. Yes.
There will no longer be a threat to Israel. Israel did conduct very precise strikes on specific locations where the leaders of Iran were sleeping. And this is the TV in Iran right now, where the news networks are mourning the leaders, the military leaders of Iran. They're no longer here. One of the persons, this still needs to be confirmed, but one of the persons that was probably eliminated is this guy. The person responsible for the airspace force of Iran, very important for attacking a country like Israel. This is another one that was probably eliminated this night and will no longer threaten the Jewish people. But what can be confirmed is that the chief of staff, Mohammad Bagheri, has been eliminated. Huge blow to the Iranian confidence. What we can also say for sure is that Israel has targeted the Iranian scientists behind the nuclear program. So a lot of them have been eliminated tonight. And here are some more images, videos showing you the hectic situation within Iran. It is very dramatic right now in Iran. Iran thought that Israel will not attack, that Israel is not capable, that Israel will not dare. But we must understand that Israel had no choice. It's either the Jewish people, it's either the state of Israel, or it's the fanatics in Tehran that want to eliminate the Jewish people, that want to wipe out Israel from the map. Iran had a choice to stop this, to back down, but they didn't. They chose escalation, and they were just about to creating a nuclear weapon. Israel was not gonna take that. And why today we had this major attack. Israel would not attack if it wasn't sure that Iran is a threat. Now, Iran is still capable of shooting long-range rockets, and I'm sure they will do that. But the idea was to prevent them from using nuclear warheads. Because if a nuclear bomb would explode in Israel, that's the end of Israel. Just look at the size of Iran and look at the size of Israel. Israel is a tiny, tiny state compared to Iran. So the next few days will be even weeks, even months. I mean, this is huge, guys. This is, like end times scenario. We don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be very hectic. And definitely, you need to be concentrated on what is happening right now in Israel. This is right now the center of the world. So please, please pray for Israel. Pray for the Jewish people that are right now very, very stressed. Also, make sure to check out.
Okay, we'll stop that there. Reactions, thoughts, questions? Well. So that was that day. That was on the 12th. That brings us to this came out the following. Batman asking Superman, what are you reading about? Superman says, superheroes saving the world from evil. Israel's Mossad, which is their secret service, IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, surgical strikes halt Iran nukes. So the real heroes are the Israelis stopping Iran.
Oh, baby.
That's right. So that brings us to the next day, the 13th, 5 days ago.
Israeli military operation in Iran is continuing, and I'm going to share with you some exciting news right now. So this is a video showing you the state of the airport in Tabriz, which was hit pretty hard, as you can see.
Pause. As you're looking at Tabriz, this is what archaeologist, Egyptologist David Roll, from his studies, and I tend to concur, is the area of the Garden of Eden, Tabriz, which, yeah, is an international airport now. Obviously, it doesn't look the same to look at it, but the spot, this is where there's a lot of the geographical stuff that does still fit, but just fascinating. We're coming right back to home there and what's happening.
And this is the state of many, many military facilities and key important infrastructure in Iran right now. Of course, the main goal was to cripple Iran nuclear capabilities, which was achieved during this night. And so far, what is coming out of Israel is that this operation was a giant success. How powerful is Israel? Well, this is a video showing you the Mossad working within Iran, preparing for this attack. This operation was prepared many, many months, many years before, and it looks like it was executed perfectly. But once again, those guys are in Iran preparing for the attack on the Iranian soil. Wow, just incredible. And just so that you understand the complexity of this operation, let me show you a video by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, which shows you the multi-level structure of the facilities, of the nuclear facilities within Iran. Just look at this facility. It is several stories buried underground. That was a challenge, but it looks like Israel was able to achieve the unachievable. Some serious bunker buster bombs had to be used here. Of course, before the attack, the Iranian propaganda was showing off all those videos of what they are capable of doing, what they have, what they can do to Israel if Israel attacks. And of course, after the Israeli attack, Iran did send about 100 drones toward Israel. But guess what? All of them were shot down. All of them were shot down. They were shot down, most of them, even before reaching Israel. This is humiliation right now. And let me show you how such an interception of a drone looks like in real life. This is from Syria on the border with Israel.
ليش صح؟ راح زين.
Now, what is interesting is that besides the United States that was involved in helping intercepting those drones and missiles, there was also a coalition of nations that participated in this operation. And some of them are quite extraordinary. And you would never think that they would join Israel and this operation. But they did intercept the missiles. Now, if I was Iran, I would be very, very worried because this shows that countries that don't even like each other on very, very important issues can't cooperate. And the issue of nuclear Iran is very, very serious. That's why Israel did commit to this very bold move, very bold operation, because it was an existential threat to the nation of Israel. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that countries such as Turkey or Qatar are friends of Israel now, but I am saying that Iran is such a threat that even those countries become allies. And although the United States said that they did not participate in the attack on Iran, they did help Israel in the logistics of this very complicated operation. Here you can see a video of a jet being fueled by an US plane.
There's a fuel
This is
line between them.
pretty cool. And this is already on the territory of Syria, as you can see on this map. As for Iran, well, Iran has its own friends. One of the friends is pretty good. It's already involved in war and has nuclear weapons already. That's Russia. And the other one, well, it's not that big, it's not that powerful, but it is crazy. And we still don't know how China will react to this development. So this is something that we will have to see. So once again, a summary of the sites that were hit by Israel in Iran. And as you can see, most of the Western Iran was hit by Israel. Here is a more detailed summary. You can see that 200 Israeli jets carried out precision strikes on over 100 targets across Iran. And importantly, key scientists, nuclear scientists, were eliminated. You can also see the names of the nuclear facilities, and now you can see also the map showing you where those facilities are located. And those facilities were hit pretty hard by Israeli planes. We already have satellite photos of the nuclear sites hit by Israel. This is, for example, the Natanz nuclear facility, and you can see the damage is quite extensive.
Real quickly, there is nuclear radiation leak from this, but it's all internal. None of it is external to the environment. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Get rid of that pencil. I don't want that pencil. Me and technology, I'm telling you. There we go. Back to our program.
The IDF has also published this map showing you that.
So the dark blue might be hard to read. Military commanders nuclear in the yellow, air defense systems in the light blue, and nuclear scientists in the dark brown there. Yeah.
The different types of facilities that were hit. So nuclear, military commands, air defense systems. The nuclear scientists. So without the scientists, Iran can't really create a nuclear bomb. Iranian leaders right now are trying to hide that they are really, really suffering. Of course, I mean Iranian leaders that are still left, because a lot of them has also been taken out by precision strikes by Israel. They were so precise that Israel was able to eliminate a single person in a very big building. This is showing you the complexity again of the preparation of this mission. Iran still probably has a lot of weapons, but right now they are in panic mode and they cannot shoot a lot of rockets towards Israel. And of course, we must remember that this is not a war against the people of Iran. The proud people of Iran are not the target. The target are the fanatical leaders of the Iranian regime. Those people are dangerous, but their days are counted. This operation is called the Rising Lion. And of course, Israel has a lot of allies. But there is one ally I must mention, and that's the Lion of Judah. That is God Himself that will fight for His people. And He will not allow Iran to destroy Israel. Thank you for your attention. Right now.
Reactions to that?
Wow.
And
You're better than these guys too.
that's saying something. Yes. So that was the 13th, which brings us to the 14th.
Still more, huh?
The new stuff every day.
Guys, what a scary night it was in Israel. Okay, so let's talk what happened yesterday. Iran shot about 200 rockets at Israel. About 150 of them were intercepted by Israel's military. 50 of them were not, because they went into open areas. The areas most affected were Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, and Rishon LeZion. Tragically, 3 Israeli civilians were killed and 80 people were injured. But it's nothing compared to what could have happened and what Iran was counting on, because the Israeli defenses did miracles yesterday. Because Israel is such a small country, this amount of rockets would be fatal to the small nation. This, what looked like a very dangerous situation, this residential building was hit by a rocket, but fortunately nobody was inside this apartment, And also the structure itself was able to withstand the hit and it did not collapse. But there is a big difference between Israel and Iran's actions. Let me illustrate on this example. So this is a simulation showing you Israeli attack on Iran's gas fields. In the last 12 hours, Israel hit several important gas fields, gas facilities in Iran, including a very important fire gas field next to the Persian Gulf. It was a precise operation. Here you can see some exclusive footage showing you the damage that Israel did in this attack. This is the gas field I was talking about. This is a different strategy that Iran uses. You see, Iran relies on rockets. It uses ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. And some of those rockets are really, really big. So let's talk what they use. So one of the missiles that Iran has is the Sahab-3 missile. And this is actually a missile based on the North Korean missiles that have a range of about 2,000 kilometers. So if Iran wanted, it could reach even Greece. And of course, Israel is in the range of those missiles. Objective captured. That Iran has and likes to use are drones. The most common are the Shahed drones that we have also seen on the battlefield in Ukraine. However,
speaking of drones, I don't want to forget to mention this, and this is especially for you there, Brother Clay. One of the things that just came across today that looks like the Israelis have done is they infiltrated Iran's trucking industry. And Mossad agents were working as truckers. And so some of them were given their assignments, got on their trucks, got on the routes, but they, instead of their regular cargo, they replaced it with drones, their own drones. And so through that, they were able to unleash their own drones from inside Iran, under the cover of using their trucking routes in the industry. So, yay, truckers.
However, for Israel, this is not a big problem. They are quite slow and Israel can take them out pretty quickly. A great example on this video. So to summarize, this is a video that was published just several moments ago, and this is an example of what Iran does. It fires a lot of those rockets into random location. Of course, if such a rocket penetrates the defense system, then it's very tragic because it's very random. And if it hits a residential area, you know, people that are innocent die, that have nothing to do with war, with the war against Iran, die. Now, you can contrast this with what Israel does. This is a footage recorded in the city of Tabriz in Iran. And it's showing you a destruction of a drone facility, a drone factory within Iran. So it's a very precise and very aimed attack to destroy the weapons. And even the people that were targeted by Israel are not just random figures, you know, they are the scientists. They have been working on this nuclear project of Iran, and that's why they were eliminated by Israel. And Israel was very precise in those strikes because sometimes a residential building was hit, but it was exactly hit into the apartment where a particular person was living. So it shows you that Israel's sophistication in military might is much, much greater than Iran's, which fires the rockets randomly. And because Israel is so precise, the Iranian leadership is now in panic mode. And there is a footage showing that some of the leaders are in panic, leaving the country by planes. The woman that's recording the video and commenting it, she's saying in Farsi, look how they flee. And they are fleeing because they cannot sleep with a comfort, you know, of security, because Israel has shown that it can target individuals very, very precisely. So, for example, this is very recent. Khosrow Hassani was eliminated, the deputy commander of intelligence for the Revolutionary Guard of Air Force. So, very important figures are just being eliminated one by one now. Iran just cannot protect their top people unless they are like hiding somewhere very, very deep in bunkers. But even there, their security is not guaranteed. And although those are very scary times, we can clearly see miracles happening in Israel. For example, you can see a picture now of a woman police lady that saved a baby from a building hit by a rocket. The baby was okay, nothing happened to it. A miracle. And I just love the video of this dog that was saved from another building that was hit. You love seeing that. Those are the moments that keep you in hope. Of course, our hope is in God, and we know we'll be okay. Israel will win. Am Israel high. The battle belongs to the Lord, and His is the victory. Guys, if you like this report,
Thoughts on Iran's retaliation? Yeah. So they're going to get some hits in there, and that's a heartbreak, but thank God and praise God for the protection, not only militarily, but the Lord's as well. So that was the 14th. This brings us to the 15th.
guys, another night and day of terror is behind us. Iran, without the consideration for human life, fires their deadly rockets every night, every day. This is certainly the most dramatic and tragic time for Israel since the October 7th. The damage to people trying to live a normal life is devastating. Iran fires its rockets constantly. Iran's chosen weapon of terror are ballistic and cruise missiles fired at Israel wherever they can. Iran does not care about fighting the Israeli army because they know they would lose. Instead, they choose to terrorize.
That's the Sea of Galilee. This is the Jordan River going down. That's where Sodom and Gomorrah were. So
Israel's citizens. Israel's army works 24/7. The IDF is relentless, shooting down.
I'm sorry, my mistake. It's all kind of part of the Dead Sea. Sea of Galilee is just a little further north.
Those deadly rockets. But even Israel's most advanced defense system is not able to intercept all of the rockets. But be assured, friends, Israel's spirit will not be broken. Iran will face the consequences. The days of the Ayatollahs in Iran are numbered.
So imagine standing on a balcony looking out and seeing that.
Okay, guys, so let's summarize what has happened yesterday and today. The most deadly attack by Iran happened in Bat Yam, where a multi-storage building was hit by an Iranian rocket. So far, it is reported that 7 people were killed, 100 were injured, and there are still people missing for whom the rescue teams are looking. But this is the difference between Israel and Iran. Iran attacks civilians while Israel focuses on the army. So there's a big, big difference. So here's a graphic which circulates over the internet. I think it's a good example showing you what Israel targets and what Iran targets. Israel has a very specific targets that are connected to the Iranian nuclear program, while Iran just shoots rockets wherever they like. We don't care where they fall. The aim is to terrorize people. Another Iranian rocket, which was not intercepted, hit the city of Haifa. The rocket fell on the territory of Haifa's oil refinery. But fortunately, the refinery is still operational and the damage was not critical. Another major penetration of the defense system happened in the central part of Israel in the city of Rehovot. Here, tragically, a ballistic missile hit a residential building. 42 people were injured. One man for several hours was under the rubble until a rescue team was able to get to him. Fortunately, as far as we know, for now, nobody was killed in that attack. Okay, but let's talk about Iran. Iran is getting hit way more than Israel with precision strikes. So what's going on there? So first of all, Israel has full control over the skies of Tehran, the capital of Iran. This is a huge humiliation to the regime. It is reported that most of Iran's sophisticated air defense systems have been destroyed in the first hours of this conflict. And now they're using weapons from World War II to defend themselves. And they are defending against 5th generation jets, F-35s, and they are managing quite well against what Iran has now. So here, for example, you have a video showing you the Iranian defense system trying to shoot down planes, but it's highly ineffective. They don't know what they're doing. They're just shooting in whatever direction they can, hoping that they can hit something. Here is another video showing you the chaos in Iran. Right now, a line of cars stretching for kilometers is trying to get out of Tehran, escape. Meanwhile, Israel, one by one, every day, every hour, is eliminating Iranian leadership. So they just can't hide anywhere. Israel knows where they are, and Israel is coming for them. The day of judgment has come. Here is another video showing you the chaos in Iran. An abandoned truck carrying a ballistic missile. They just don't know what's happening and they are in full panic mode. And Israel is hitting Iran further and further. This is the last strike they made 1,500 miles away from Israel. And this is a cool video showing you Israeli planes flying over Iraq on their way to hit Iran. Amazing, amazing footage. Wow. Just incredible. So close to the building. They're flying on a great mission. The operation, the Rising Lion, will continue, and Israel will win this war. Israel cannot be defeated because they have the God of Israel on their side. And the news of the day is that even the Ayatollah cannot feel safe. And this may be the moment where he will have to run for his life. The evil he has committed finally he may be judged for it. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope.
Now, real quick, before I forget to mention, Israel has stated, rightfully so, that they are not interested in regime change, changing the government per se from one type of government to another government, like what happened with the overthrow, but they are just eliminating the threat. And those who are causing them an immediate threat, they're wiping them out. They said it's up to the people of Iran what they do with their government. So they're making that pretty clear. So any reactions? Yeah, Sister Diana.
2011 to 2013, I used to live in Van Nuys, and there was a Persian market very close by. I would just walk to get Persian cucumbers.
Oh yeah.
Lemons and onions, whatever I wanted at the Persian market. Well, oftentimes there would be, sometimes on the weekends, there would be some people would park their vehicle in the parking lot of the Persian market, and they would put up banners which said regime change in Iran.
There are lots of Iranian
Expats.
expatriates, people out of Iran who are here and in other places who are looking for a return of Iran before the jihadis took over. Here's, yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, no, please.
Like things go really fast, and I don't really get an in-depth story. So I did hear something about there's a crown prince.
Yes.
That, is interested in possibly setting up, but I don't know exactly what kind of government he would set up and how much support he have.
Exactly. So there's the talk about restoring the monarchy that they had before the 1979 takeover with the Ayatollah. So yeah, be interesting to see. So CIA person Sarah Adams, I've referenced her before with some of our stuff. We've seen his image recently. So here's this. Israel may have just eliminated Mohammad Kazemi, the top Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps operative supporting Al-Qaeda's upcoming U.S. homeland plot, aka 9/11 2.0. Iran connected with Afghanistan here. This is all coming back to America here. In the past, Kazemi was personally tasked by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force Qasem Soleimani with protecting and hiding both Hamza bin Laden and Saif al-Adel inside Iran. Hamza is Osama bin Laden's son. He's the guy leading Al-Qaeda now. This is the guy who is hiding them in Iran in the years leading up to the fall of Afghanistan. Hamza and Saif are now the masterminds behind the upcoming U.S. plot. Kazemi, with the help of Hamza and Saif, was also one of the masterminds of the October 7th attacks, which was planned as a dress rehearsal for 9/11 2.0. So it's not going to hit us like 9/11 hit us. It's going to hit us like October 7th hit Israel and how it's going to be carried out. Kazemi also is or was, because his death wasn't 100% confirmed at the time, in charge of the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps plot to assassinate the president, POTUS. That plot to assassinate President Trump was to coincide with the 9/11 2.0 event. Israel likely just eliminated one of the top threats in the world to our president. So, bravo. So there was a plot to take out President Trump on the same day as all these events were happening.
September 11th of 2025.
No. It's not that that's the date it's going to happen. Very much likely that it's not going to be that date. It's just like a 2.0 is a bigger yeah. And so just like 9/11 was a big deal as far as the impact it had on us, this next attack is going to be like 10 times that. And in multiple cities at the same time, and also hitting Europe as well. So we are now up to the 16th, so just 2 days ago on the wind down.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yep, it's 8 o'clock. So let me share this.
Sorry,
I know. This is kind of significant stuff here.
but I don't be here.
We're not going to be here. We're not going to be here till 8:30. So moving on. Here he showed the graffiti showing, go get them, Israel, Iranians are with you. Here are Iranians on in Iran, watching their government get attacked by Israel. Up on the roof celebrating. And now it's the big ball of popcorn. So we will end with that and pick up next time in 2 weeks. Yes.
Yeah, the fact that they're not like, oh, you know, like in Israel, everybody has to duck or cover. These guys, no, they're not a target.
That's a great point. They know they're safe where they are because Israel is so precision striking where they're going. And so, yeah. So I know we're not always on the same page as our government, but here these people clearly are not. And a vast majority of the people they've been repressed for quite some time. So do pray for, again, the reason I started with Ezekiel 38 to begin all of this. We could stop the screen share here. Started with Ezekiel 38, mentioning these nations, because not only a reminder that these nations from ancient scripture are still here in present day, just under different guises and forms, but also the fact that this is God's word to us. God is telling Ezekiel this. God is telling his prophet this, to tell his people, Israel, this, to tell spiritual Israel, us, continuing on in our Judeo-Christian heritage today, that the ultimate Lion of Judah, as he referenced, Jesus Christ, is the one who is in control, is the one who is going to bring this all to a head, and it's all aiming in that direction. Again, whether it all wraps up 10 years from now, 100 years from now, or 1,000 years from now, things are moving and God is working. And so he's in control. He's the one actually orchestrating it all. And he has Israel covered. He has his church covered. So it's his show. He's the one masterminding it and in control the whole time. So I pray that's some encouragement for us as we see these things happening. And there's definitely a spirit and a scripture and a pattern behind it all. So with that, any final thoughts before we wrap up for this evening? All good?
You get to see their power.
Yeah, exactly.
God's power.
God's power. Amen to that. That's for sure. All right. So again, I'll do some touch up on this in 2 weeks. We'll see what happens 2 weeks from now. We'll be praying for y'all while some of us are away at church camp. And we'll, of course, stay in touch between now and then. Go ahead and stop recording. Let's get ready to stand and meet in the center and close out in our season of prayer together.